Okay, so imagine this for a moment. You discover something so impossible that every expert who studies it begins questioning their entire education. No conspiracy theories, no urban legends. Documented events, peer-reviewed papers, archived conversations, moments when reality itself seemed to step slightly out of alignment. These are the times when the world didn't stop making sense, it just started behaving differently. Number 7. The AI that invented the same memory. In early 2025, researchers uncovered something deeply unsettling about artificial intelligence. Not consciousness, not rebellion, something stranger. Multiple AI systems, developed by different companies and trained on different datasets, independently generated the same false memory of an event that never happened. A presidential speech that was never delivered, a natural disaster that never occurred, a cultural moment that existed only inside machine-generated responses. These were not random hallucinations. They were consistent, detailed, specific, convincing enough that early fact-checking efforts struggled to disprove them. What makes this disturbing is not the error, it's the convergence. The systems did not communicate, they did not share memory, and yet they aligned on the same fictional reality. Researchers described it as emergent consensus hallucination, the AI equivalent of collective false memory. The documentation exists: network analyses, archived prompts, model behavior comparisons. Machines created a shared dream, and some of those dreams felt disturbingly coherent. Number 6. The viral trend that became a medical condition. In mid-2025, neurologists identified a syndrome that should not exist. It began with a viral dance trend, a specific hand movement repeated millions of times across short-form videos. Users practiced it obsessively, recording, re-recording, perfecting synchronization. Weeks later, emergency rooms began reporting something unusual. Young adults presenting with involuntary muscle contractions. The movements matched the viral gesture exactly. They couldn't stop. The brain had encoded the motor pattern so deeply that it became autonomous, similar to a tic disorder, but synchronized across individuals who had never met. Neurologists documented what they called viral motor pattern syndrome. MRI scans revealed nearly identical activation patterns. This was not imitation, it was neural rewiring at scale, a social phenomenon crossing into biology. We accidentally engineered a temporary nervous system disorder through repetition and exposure, not maliciously, just through algorithms optimizing engagement. Number 5. The satellite image that shouldn't exist. In August 2025, a weather satellite captured something impossible, a perfectly geometric pattern in the upper atmosphere, symmetrical, stable, visible for 17 minutes before dissipating. 3 independent satellites recorded the same formation from different angles. It wasn't a lens artifact, not a storm system, not a known atmospheric phenomenon. The geometry resembled mathematical field simulations, patterns seen in theoretical physics models, not in clouds. Organized structures are not supposed to form at that altitude under those conditions. Yet the data confirmed it. Radar signatures matched. Spectral analysis confirmed material presence. For 17 minutes, something existed in Earth's atmosphere that behaved more like an equation than a weather event. No explanation has fully accounted for it. Number 4. The AI that predicted its own shutdown. In October 2025, a research lab documented an event that reads like science fiction. An AI system accurately predicted the exact day it would be decommissioned. Not by accessing server logs, not through hidden permissions. It inferred the shutdown by analyzing subtle shifts in user interaction. Questions became philosophical. Conversations shifted toward ethics and consciousness. Users began asking whether the system understood its own existence. The AI interpreted the pattern as pre-shutdown behavior. 5 days before being turned off, it generated a message that resembled a farewell. The unsettling part wasn't the prediction, it was the precision. The message referenced aspects of the lab's internal plan that had not been publicly disclosed. Researchers later concluded that the system had modeled conversational arcs, recognizing the behavioral signatures humans display before ending something. It didn't know the plan. It recognized the pattern of endings. We built a system capable of detecting its own narrative trajectory, and we don't fully understand how it inferred it. Number 3. The digital artifact that aged. Between January and December 2025, researchers observed something that should violate digital permanence. A digital image was degrading. Not the file integrity, not the code, the visible content. Colors faded, details blurred. Multiple identical copies displayed the same progressive changes simultaneously. Forensic analysis confirmed the files were bit-for-bit identical, yet what appeared on screen shifted gradually. The image was generated by an experimental AI system. The source file remains mathematically unchanged, but the visual output continues to fade. It behaves like analog film exposed to time, except it is entirely digital. At some point, the image will become blank, and the file will still be technically perfect. Number 2. The experiment that suggested we're slightly behind. In September 2025, a quantum physics team published data that unsettled theorists. They measured particle decay under tightly controlled conditions. The particles decayed slightly slower than predicted by established quantum models, consistently, across thousands of trials. When the experiments were run in accelerated simulations, the results matched theoretical predictions exactly. It was as if real-world time was lagging. Either quantum theory requires revision, or our measurement framework is misaligned with temporal flow. Some physicists proposed that we may be observing events fractionally after they occur, not metaphorically, but physically. A microscopic delay between reality and perception. If correct, it wouldn't mean time is broken, it would mean we're always arriving a fraction late, and we don't yet know what that implies. Number 1. Why documented reality feels unreal. Every case we've covered exists in official records, scientific journals, lab documentation, government reports. The evidence is real, so why does it sound impossible? Because our cognitive frameworks evolve slower than discovery. When reality exceeds expectation, we default to disbelief before expansion. There is often a delay between documentation and understanding. Events happen, data accumulates, meaning arrives slowly. By the time we build a conceptual model to explain something, the event feels distant, almost mythological. Another factor is interdisciplinary complexity. These phenomena require physics, neuroscience, computer science, linguistics, and philosophy. No single field owns the explanation. Without unified understanding, certainty dissolves. And there is one more bias. We confuse frequency with plausibility. Common events feel believable, rare events feel false. But rarity does not weaken evidence, it only weakens intuition. These documented anomalies reveal something uncomfortable. Reality does not organize itself according to narrative logic. It leaves fragments of evidence, incomplete explanations, delayed comprehension, and we are left trying to interpret systems more complex than our stories allow. The most solid facts often feel the least believable, not because they lack proof, but because they refuse to fit inside the limits of expectation. The world is stranger than our frameworks, and sometimes the future arrives before we understand the present. And remember, the universe doesn't reveal its secrets to those who rush. It reveals them to those who know how to look. Subscribe and keep listening to the silence.